Welcome to Meg Talks, the Move with Meg podcast. I'm Megan Kerrigan, and I will be sharing ideas on how you can become a more consistent and confident dancer that understands your body and mind. Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Meg Talks. It is number 10 of our Mindset Matters, which is insane, isn't it?
I know it. I was saying that this morning. It's flown.
We're so consistent. I'm so proud of us. We've been on a little journey. Well, I have definitely been on a little bit of a journey with the podcast and sort of starting it and then not realizing how difficult it was to be consistent with recording episodes, thinking of new ideas to talk about and all of that side of things. So I think we finally nailed it, probably a year into having the podcast. But that's something I'm very proud of. So as I tell my dancers, I want you to all be proud of your consistency. Consistency really is key, and sometimes it is difficult. And I am example of that still in everyday life.
Yep, give yourself a pat on the back.
I am in my pajamas still, the small one.
I did wonder if they were pajamas.
Yeah, I thought, do you know what? I've got a day where I don't need to leave the house till 2 p.m. I am going to stay in my pajamas, and I'm usually quite productive when I'm in my PJs. I don't know why. I think because I'm like happy and relaxed and comfortable, and like I don't need to be anywhere, and I've had a great productive morning. Anyway,
Lovely stuff.
Enough about me. Let's talk about this episode. We are going to be talking today about a parental or like a parent's involvement in younger dancers. So how parents are really a huge part of what goes on for younger dancers. Their development in mindset and movement, and obviously community as well, are three key pillars at Move with Meg, and how we can support parents too. So we're talking through a few different things. I kind of have broken it down into movement, mindset and community, because I feel like it's a nice way to break it down and talk about it. But I'm sure myself and Annabelle will get down some rabbit holes as we go through this topic, and my mum will definitely be having a listen to this one. So sorry, Mum, if I say anything that makes you regret your actions as a parent of Irish dance. No, I'm joking. Okay, so firstly then, thinking about mindset. So the role that parents play in building resilient, confident dancers, that I suppose is what we want to develop and grow and build.
Yeah, that's the aim, isn't it?
Yeah. How do we find, it's quite a fine line, isn't it, of supporting and helping a dancer become resilient, and then like the side of things of like being too pressuring, pushing too hard, knowing when they need to break. It's a very, very difficult balance to find.
Yeah, very difficult balance.
How would you sort of describe that difference?
It literally is like walking a tightrope, I imagine sometimes. And caveat, I am coming at this as a non-parent currently. So I don't have my own dancing children, but obviously I work with a lot of dancing children who are very good, to be fair to them, about talking about their fesh team, and that includes mums and dads and nannies and granddads and all them that are involved, or carers who take them to feshes, who will fill this parental role. Obviously you're coming at this, Meg, as a step parent, so it's a little bit of a different angle, but it's quite good, I think, to get the two different
and that's very new to me as well. So I suppose my new learning can maybe relate to new fesh parents and new fesh teams, like you say.
Yeah, and it is hard. It is a tightrope of what's too much and what's gentle encouragement and what's keeping them accountable.
Yeah.
And I do think that's a really, really difficult thing for people to navigate, especially with very, very young dancers. Obviously, we're focusing on younger dancers today, and that can go from dancers like 4, 5, 6 years old, probably up until 11. Like leaving primary school, start of high school age is what I have in my head as a young dancer, before they hit them teenage years. And obviously, depending on where your young dancer falls into that, again, will change how you would deal with a 4-year-old is different than how you deal with a 10-year-old. But it's about finding, that balance. And I think the more you communicate with your dancer, the easier that is. I work with a dancer who I've worked with for a long time now. She is 11, and her mum is a fantastic support system. But even she messaged me the other day and she was like, I think I've gone too far one way. The dancer has said to me that actually it feels not like encouragement anymore, but more like pressure. And she's like, I feel like I've gone too far. Can you help us? So it is a constant learning thing as well. And that will adapt and change over time, I would imagine too.
And I think what I always bring this back to in my new understanding, and not even necessarily now that I am a step parent, but before, I know it's funny when I even say
It's
that.
still bizarre to me.
I know when I put that label on myself, like it took me so long to be able to actually even say those words. Me and Lewis be bursting out laughing. Anyway, but even before that, I have got this new understanding now in the position that I'm at in Move with Meg as to parents are learning too. Like I probably had a bit of resentment towards my mum, mainly because mum was the person that was my fesh team. She took me to all my dance classes, all my feshes. She was there. She understood. She was the one that knew about dancing. She actually loved it just as much as I did. But I think I held her too accountable, as in, you should have known better. How did you not know that that wasn't the right thing that I needed? And this was sort of like, as I was going through therapy, I sort of felt this bit of resentment, like, well, she should have known. Why did she do that? Almost
You're
like,
the adult. It's almost like the adults have all the answers and actually they don't.
yeah. And I'm now in this, and it's funny the journey I've been on with that. Because when I was younger, I just thought she was doing the right thing because that is what I wanted at the time. Then when I sort of started hitting these boundaries of those moments and key moments impacting my everyday life now as an adult. And then since going through that, working through that in therapy and having that resentment, like you did this to me almost, and not resentment in terms of that, but just feeling a little bit like, why did you not see this?
Yeah.
And then now I'm at the other end of it where I'm completely like, well, how, like, they parents are doing as dancers are doing, and they are just simply doing the best that they can do and what they think is right at the time based on the information, the surroundings, everything that they have access to. And that's where I think this is a very important conversation that I'm really passionate about, because I think if we can help parents and give them more information and give them more support, then, and also help dancers to understand that parents are just learning too, and that's okay.
Yeah,
And
100%.
this
Like,
growth as a team sort of is more of a thing rather than, well, mum should know what to do.
yeah, exactly, which is where you were coming from.
Mhm.
100%. And I think my mum said it before, so I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that, like, if she could go back and redo her first time, she would change so many things from the
Mhm.
start of our dance career and how she dealt with me as a younger dancer. As we went through that journey and learned, she often looked back and thought, well, I wish I'd put less pressure on, like, every little fesh and every little competition and things like that. And it's just because she was as passionate about it as I was and wanted me to be the best. But I know she definitely looks back and wishes she could change things. Often we can't do that, obviously. But we can learn from that 100%, and we can share this with other people. One thing I think she definitely would say, that might be worth a conversation, to be fair, after two parents on. Sorry, mum.
I've asked my mum before, and she hands down is like, no
Refuses.
way. I'm like, maybe dad then. But I think that would be a great
My
conversation.
dad would be useless. Don't ask him. He'd have no idea. But definitely focusing on, like, the outcome and the effort rather than the result and things like that. And rather than me and mum were the queens of analysing a result sheet. Like, we had that analysed before we left the car park.
That was my
And, like, mum would be driving down the motorway going, so Judge A gave you what in your first round? And I'd be going, like, I'd work them out and stuff like that. But, which is great. You learn lots of things, but almost it became the whole focus of the fesh was, what did Judge A give you in your heavy round? Rather than, well, what was better than the last fesh? What have we learned from this? So I think that's definitely something that I think can impact, because them car journeys too, from dance class and feshes, is where quite a lot of conversations,
I had.
important conversations happen.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like what you said, if those conversations, if you're subconsciously doing that, because that is what we're kind of like driven to do in this competitive sport that we're in, it's pulling it back, isn't it? And I'm just going to compare it very quickly to a situation that we sort of had with reading at home. And it does, this crosses over into education. It crosses over into all areas of parenting. And I found it really difficult to, Lola is 6 and she's obviously learning to read. She's in year 1. She really struggles when she hits a word she doesn't know. She likes to be right. She likes to get things right because that's when the praise comes. And I had a conversation with my family, including my brother, who also works with young people, which is quite interesting. And we've sort of touched upon that before. We've all ended up in this sort of like education, working with young people.
Field.
Yeah, mum was a teacher as well.
I was going to say, just like your mum.
Yeah, I think it all fed down. But he sort of agreed, and he was like, the education system guides people towards being right, and the same with dancing, guides people towards winning or getting a certain position. But actually, how can we praise dancers? How can we praise Lola in her reading for trying and like putting the emphasis on? So now we've got a star chart that when she gets something wrong, but she still continues to try, she gets a star, because that is way more important than getting the word right. But it's really difficult to sort of relay that when school and the full system rewards for right answers. And the same way, dancers get a trophy for winning or being in the top 3. So how do we have to be so consistent and so like, what's the word? Like, we almost need to just bombard dancers with this. Well done, you tried really hard today. How was your effort? And how was what did you do better? Like you said, like we have to be the person as the parents, as the support network, to just bombard their brain with this other way of prioritizing goals.
Yeah, 100%. Otherwise, it's all just going to be focused on that one attainment of, did I qualify? Did I get the trophy? And that was definitely where my mind was as a young, especially a teenage dancer, to be fair, was, can I bring home the silver cup?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to bring home the silver cup. And that was like the big thing
Yeah.
at every single fest, rather than, well, what can I do? I've told dancers before, my biggest weakness was the fact I did an awful warm-up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I did a really, really bad warm-up. Did I learn from that? No, because my focus wasn't on what can I do better from this fest to that fest. What have I learned? My focus was, how close was I? I was only 2.5 marks off the big silver cup.
But that doesn't actually help.
Yeah, well, I've absolutely not learned anything. And the amount of times I would stand side stage and go, oh, you probably should have warmed up better. And then would forget about it, because that was at 8 o'clock in the morning. And like a Saturday, 2 weeks on another Saturday, I'm not going to remember that one little thought until I'm in the situation again.
And again, you had no fest tracker. You had no consistent routine that you did when you got in the car. No questions you asked yourself. No journaling. There was no
no actual like fresh warm up set for me. We were all just kind of winging it. You'd look around and go, oh, that girl's swinging a leg. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah.
And everyone was kind of just winging it.
I think that still happens today. I go into a practice room and I'm like, oh Lord, I have to walk out because I'm like, I want to go and tell everybody. It's like being a personal trainer in a gym. Like when I am walking around and I see people doing things, I'm like, oh, okay then. But you can't go and tell everybody how to fix themselves. Like you have to let people learn for themselves. They have to want to learn.
Yeah, I imagine you would get quite annoying walking around the gym correcting everyone's fall.
And I'm not perfect either. Like my fall gets corrected too, but it is frustrating.
100%. So yeah, that's probably a big point I would bring, is outcomes in terms of effort.
Yeah.
And as you say, translates over to education and everything else as well.
Yeah.
Even down to
And also,
housework and chores and all that, like everything.
It's a big life lesson. And as much as obviously we work with dancers specifically during their dancing and about their dancing, we are very much about the longevity of
the person.
Yeah, happy people, happy young people, happy people when they're actually 33, like me right now. Like that is one of my deepest passions within Move with Meg, is to make sure that we're setting these dancers and young people up for the rest of their life.
Yeah,
And I
I
do
mean,
think,
like, my big word is always empower them. Like, I
yeah,
wanna be able to empower them to have the confidence to advocate for themselves
yeah,
in whatever situation that is, whether that's when they're in work, when they're older, or to have the self-belief to do these things, or to know when they're self-sabotaging,
yeah,
and to have all these things in place that
mhm,
I only learned in my 20s, that if we can teach them from a young age,
yeah,
and I know my mum works in a primary school, and she said the difference over her 20-odd year career and how this is more of a focus than it was when we were in school is brilliant. And I think generally in the world, things are changing for the better. But I think if we can be that guide and light almost in the dance world to build an empowered, there's so much more than having a good slip jig.
yeah,
Like, how can we build empowered, happy, like, well-rounded young people?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think
100%.
that,
Go on, sorry.
and I think that is, I don't want to, I'm going to be careful with my words. I think that is what makes us and the movement of people doing what we kind of do, um, the driving force to the new Irish dance world and the new Irish dance competition, because I think dancing teachers, old school dancing teachers, culturally, it's very much like, do X, Y, and Z, that'll make your dancing better. But they don't care whether you can walk when you're 35 because they're not going to know you, right? They care that you won the trophy that year. And that is very tarring everybody with the same brush. And I don't want to come across like that. But I do believe that the Irish culture is quite hard and harsh and come on, get up and get on with it, because of the famine and all the things that Ireland has gone through, and all of the things that the people that left Ireland have gone through with starting lives. My grandparents, for example, come into the UK. That is bred into them.
Yeah,
But
that grit, determination, and power through, regardless of what's going on, kind of
yes,
thing.
and regardless of the impact in the future, I think we now are at a stage where we can start infiltrating that, and helping dancers to realize, and helping parents and helping teachers to realize that there is more to your future than being at this championships or dancing through this injury, or like all of those things, and the longevity of that person and their happiness and their movement, as we'll get on to,
Like, it's
is,
so lovely when I see, like, on Instagram and stuff, it's like, oh, such and such came back to visit dance class when when they've left and gone to university, and they come back in the summer and they visit their old dance class. And like, that shows like how happy they were
yeah,
in dance class, and how obviously respected and well cared for they obviously felt. And, when people have their old dance school perform at their weddings, and stuff like that. And, teachers are invited to big life things even when the person isn't dancing anymore. Like, I think things like that are really special.
yeah. And it's sort of, that just touches upon a conversation I had yesterday with a dancer who just has found out that they'd broken their foot, and they've just found out that they won't be able to dance at Worlds.
Yeah, I heard about
Um,
these.
and we had a conversation, and I just said, right, number one, it feels like the worst thing in the world right now, but at the same time, the decision to dance would be reckless when it comes to your dancing future. When it comes to, and you won't think about this when you're 16, 17, or 13, or however old you are, running after your kids in the park. You won't think about it. And I remember people trying to say things like that to me when I was young, and I used to be like, shut up, I'll be fine. Like, I did. And I know you guys probably listening to this, probably like, oh, shut up, you'll be grand. But like those things, I had an injury and I went back too soon, and it gives me jip to this day. When I like go to the gym, I'm constantly like, oh, if only I did that rehab work that the physio told me. Like, I regret it till this day. So try to think about the longer, the bigger picture. And I've just gone off on a big tangent there, but I think it's a really vital thing that parents are a huge part of, helping dancers to make better decisions when it comes to the long term.
Yeah, and it's hard when you're younger to look at a bigger picture, because at the moment you can only see what's happening right now. And that's where parents and people like us, adults in their lives, are obviously better at that, because we've got more life experience and being able to explain that to them, but in a way that they're going to understand. As they said, people were saying to you, oh,
Yeah.
well, this, that, and the other, and you weren't listening. But maybe if we could try and explain it in maybe a different way
Yeah.
and put it into different situations that may relate to that child. They may understand it a little bit more rather than just now, I can't dance at the world because mum said and I want to power through kind of thing. Make them, help them to understand in a slightly different way. It might be not a bigger picture as your picture is because you're older, but if we can just broaden it slightly from the situation right now.
Yeah, 100%. Coming back to the topic then, finally. We just get excited, guys. This is what happens in our meetings, and then next minute an hour's gone, and I'm like, oh, we're
We now
having
just-
novels. Yeah, passionate about everything. Talking about then, or thinking about a home environment for dancers, what can parents do to create sort of that home environment that supports dancers' positive mindset, rest, progress, not results, progress, not perfection? What can we have at home? What can we implement at home? What space do we need? What can how can parents facilitate a space to make that and like just happen naturally, basically?
Yeah, be a parent, not a teacher.
Yeah.
100%. Like, you're there.
Can you tell my mum that?
Meg's mum, be a parent, not a teacher. Like, that's the teacher's job. That's why you pay them. Like, that's their job. That's their role. Like, that's why you give them money every month or every week. Like, that's what you should be doing. And yes, we can help them, just like you help child with homework. But ultimately, the teacher is there Monday and Friday, and that's why you send them to school. So it's about creating that space, like a real safe space where they feel like they can talk about anything. A massive one is the car rides home, as they always say, or to dance class. But also showing dancers when you've made a mistake. Like, I always say that, especially for dancers that are prone to perfectionism, they always think the adults know everything, and they always get things right, just like you thought. Like, and showing them, oh, well, you know what, I messed up today because I did this in work, and this is what happened. Or, you know what, I'm not very happy with this because of this way. Or, you know what, I've burnt the garlic bread with dinner. Like, it's not the end of the world. I wish I hadn't done it, but I'll learn. It's, it sounds a little bit cheesy, but that's the way younger dancers
garlic
will
bread
be.
and cheese.
Oh, yeah, and I don't like cheese.
You're very hungry.
But that's the way they'll remember it and learn, and opening them conversations, even if it is just around the dinner table. Like, each day, sharing about your day, but sharing the good things, but not always the good things as well. And it's about just people feeling safe and being able to trust you, and you're there to help them, guide them in the right direction. So making sure they're getting enough rest, especially when recording this, it is just after St. Patrick's Day. I know a lot of dancers I've spoken to this week, especially the Americans, because I know they do quite a lot of St. Patrick's things. I think probably more than we guys do.
Like 3 weeks.
I spoke to a dancer yesterday who on St. Patrick's Day alone, just on Monday, did 11 shows.
Yeah. It's
11 shows.
And that's on different surfaces. Don't even get me started from a car perspective.
From 7:30 in the morning, she started full wig and makeup all the way through to like 8 o'clock at night. And she'd done Friday, Saturday on Sunday. She was exhausted when I spoke to her yesterday after school, bless her. But facilitating them times to be like, you know what, it's more important today that you skip your practice and we'll just do a stretch and we'll chill and watch a film. Instead. And that's okay. It's okay if we miss today's practice, that's fine. We'll do this instead because it's more important, and helping them to understand their own bodies. You always say, and really stuck with me actually, Meg, your body will tell you what it needs. You said that in the car the other day and I was like, that's brilliant. Like, I love that. And that's why I slept in till 10 o'clock today, because I was exhausted. I was knackered, but that's what my body needed. It was telling me.
It's
that's what it
taken
needed.
a long time to sort of be confident in that. And I think as a young, this very much links to like how it's taken me so long to be confident in listening to my own body, is because my mom's a very one of those hard Irish, get up, get on with it, you'll be fine. If my arm was falling off, I'd be at school. If I had like projectile vomiting, like I would be sent to school. It was just the way that they were brought up. It was like the no sympathy and
Get on with it.
Get on with it. And I've continued that. And then I started to realize, wait, I'm in control now. I don't have to, if I really don't feel like it. And one of the big turning points for me with that and listening to my body was when I was having a bit of a down day, not necessarily a down day, but my energy was really flat. I needed a day to just switch off. But I had clients booked in. I had dancers booked in, and I messaged them all and I said, listen, I'm having a day where I'm not going to be my best for your dancer. You can still choose to have the session if you want. I wanted to give them the option. I'm not cancelling, but I believe that if we rescheduled, your dancer would get the best out of me. And the response I got from being honest in that and listening to my body that I needed a day was the best ever. It was better than pretending that my Wi-Fi had gone down and having the day to myself, because I felt really authentic in taking that day, and the response that I got gave me the confidence to do it again. Because
Yeah, I
actually,
remember that day.
yeah, I remember the response that I got from a parent being like, I'm really glad that you have taken that time, and I'm going to explain it to my dancer too, that is the reason why you are cancelling, because it's showing them. And yeah, that was a big turning point for me. And I think from there, I've listened to my body more and given it what it needs, because your intuition is so powerful. And that's where it's difficult, because when you're a parent, you're not in the body.
Exactly. Yeah, and the young person doesn't know how to listen to their bodies just yet. They're still learning and growing and trying to understand that themselves.
Yeah.
And this is where communication is massively important.
And
And also
listening as a
reading the
parent.
signs. Like, you'll be able to tell, you've had them from when they were a baby. You knew before they could talk what they needed. It's kind of using that same intuition. And looking and being like, well, if I'd done 11 shows yesterday, I'd be exhausted, and then gone to work, I'd be exhausted too.
Yes.
I'd need more food to get through the day and to get the energy and all that. So it's about almost putting yourself in that situation too. They look like kids have got abundance of energy because we do have more energy than us. And they look like they can keep going and going and going, but they're not robots either.
One of our monthly clients sent a WhatsApp photo of her stood ready to go. She was in full St. Patrick's Day gear, dressed up, but leaning against the wall with her eyes closed to sleep. So standing up in a wig, in a dancing dress, and her head was against the wall and she was asleep. And I was like, that just shows the exhaustion. I hope parents give that dancer, and I know they will have, a bit of space after that. And that's what that message stands. And I think, like you say, that's for parents to make sure it happens. Anyway, deviated slightly there again, but I just get so excited. Another thing is like actual physical things you can set up. So like a calm space, like, I don't know, it needs to be a yoga mat in a corner with, it doesn't even need to be like a candle, a little lamp, some fairy lights. So a dancer feels like they want to go and have a bit of a chill out there and do a stretch. Like making the space fun, or even like sitting down with them on the last Sunday of every month and scheduling out their month with them. So you're also teaching a little bit of independence. You're showing them how you would go about doing this. They can have it on their wall. It can say rest. It can say, and then maybe that day when it is like practice at home, it's like, okay, how are you feeling this week? Feeling more tired? Anything need an extra stretch? The way I would check in with dancers all the time in our one-to-ones, I don't just go with the plan that I've got. I check in and I say, because I've got a program I want to get through and I know that's essentially going to help them, but it's really important to check in. Okay, what's been going on? Okay, this week you've had a really busy week. School's been crazy. You found it hard to get up this morning. Okay, let's not do the stamina section today. What we'll do is we'll do a calmer, nice and smooth stretch. Will get your body feeling really nice and you'll feel better for that. And it's you adapting with them will allow them to start doing that for themselves as well, and feeling that autonomy to be able to say, right, actually, I did say I was going to do my heavy jig today, but I think I've got blisters, so I'm gonna, like allowing them to adapt the
Well,
plan.
actually, I've been given a new step in my slip jig, so really that needs actually more work. I know I'd planned my jig, but my slip jig actually needs a bit more work.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But
Having the conversation around it
yeah,
is
exactly.
involved.
What always sticks in my head, remember the film Jig?
Yeah.
Which we watched. I'm not messing, the first week that came out. I thought I was so special because we went to the launch party at
Oh,
Scanlon's
yeah.
Club. I was like, we thought we were the bee's knees. And we watched that, I'm not messing, about 10 times in 4 days. Like, we were obsessed with it.
Wait,
But what
how old are you when that came out?
about 15?
Yeah, okay, perfect age.
15, 16?
Yeah, so I was a
Yeah.
few years older. I remember thinking, oh, that's great, but like I wasn't obsessed.
We remember we stayed in the hotel and we were getting a taxi to the venue, and these other women were going as well, and we were like, oh, do you want to share a taxi? And it turned out it was the woman that produced it. She got up at the party and made a speech, and we were like, oh, that's the woman in the taxi. I've got pictures from that night somewhere. But yeah, one thing that really stood out in Jake in terms of a parent doing a really good job of facilitating is you see Joe Bitter's mum waking up and making him smoothies and packing his healthy lunch and that for his day in school. And obviously he's a teenager at this point, but she was like, I need to do what I can do around him to help him be the best. Is that kind of the same thing as well? But just obviously for a younger dancer, but that does translate as they get older. It just looks different.
100%. And my mum was brilliant at that, to be fair. I don't think she ever slept because we did everything: piano, guitar, drama. Danny was at football. Like, she used to drive me to drop off places, and like we'd do swap overs. But I'd always have, it wouldn't be just a sandwich or like a rubbish packed lunch. I'd always have like tuna pasta or like a proper meal in a Tupperware box, because that was my dinner. And to get in and eat your dinner at 9 p.m, 9:30 when you get in from dancing is ridiculous. She knew I needed fuel. So, but the amount of time she must have spent prepping my food and, like I say, getting up and making smoothies and doing all of the things. We're very much nutrition is very important. And that sort of fed into my love for food, I think. But yeah, those little things, helping dancers with understanding what their body needs as well, in terms of, you need to drink more water or have some oranges, or, you know, all the different things. That is on you, and that's difficult because you've got your own work to think about and your own life to think about and all the things to think about.
Yeah. And leading by example, like my mom is rubbish at drinking water, like really, really bad. My dad is amazing. My dad's brilliant at it. But my mom is not great at it. And consequently, neither were me and Lucas.
Yeah.
We spent not a lot more time with mom. But dad just worked longer hours. Mum worked in our school. So she was there to drop us off and then pick us up again. And then she was at dancing with me. And it literally took me into being, 20, 21. And I was hardly drinking any water. And a good friend of mine, Fran, who does similar things, she was like, you need to up your water, my friend. And it was only from spending so much time with her that I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is like what people do. And so it's that leading by example as well. Yeah, and there you go, water's here. And now I'm helping other dancers. Like that dancer who's just got injured, or was just about to miss out on Worlds. We've been working with her on drinking more water because that's something she can still do while she's injured.
Yes, exactly. And I'm a big advocate for the water, and so is my mom. Water would fix everything. I'd be like, I've got a headache, mom, and I genuinely had like chronic headaches as a kid. She'd be like, just drink some more water. I'm like,
Mum, I've broken my arm. Just drink some more water.
Drink 5 liters. I don't think it's going to fix it. But yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Bringing it back to then other areas, moving slightly into, like, we had kind of been touching upon like the movement side of things and the physical health side of things. Dancers or parents can, and we touched upon warm up, facilitating and helping to facilitate the warm up at a fesh with your dancer and holding them accountable to that. Don't just say, right, you go off and do your warm up and think they're independent because they do them at class. Like, you know what happens? You turn up at a fesh and everything you know just seems to leave your brain.
Yeah, and then all their friends are there they've not seen in a while, and someone's got a new dress, and then they end up warming their mouths up rather than their bodies by talking.
Oh, yes.
I see that all the time because they do get, they're kids, they're getting excited, their friends here. So you kind of have to call them, really trust that they maybe have done it, even if they come back and say they have.
Yeah, 100%. And that, do you know who's a great example of that still to this day? Me and Shiv, when we turn up to do a high rocks. And every single time we still go, we didn't warm up properly. Because, do you know what we haven't done? And we're ridiculous because we've done, I don't know, about 8 of them together now, 7 or 8. We don't write down a plan. We just turn up and go, oh, what should we do? And then, like, the warm-up place is a bit different each time. So we're kind of like having a nose around. And then we get chatting to somebody, like you say, that we know, and they're in our competition. And then you get chatting to someone else. Then you realise it's actually time to get ready and you've got to go line up now. Yeah. And you're like, oh, haven't really done anything.
Time goes really quickly.
Like, and it's my job to teach people to do this, and I'm still not doing it. So as a parent, like, this is why we created the warm up in the goal club because it's a video follow along.
The
It
kids love
tells you,
that.
pause the video now, go get your teacher, go dance 3 sets. Pause the video now, do this. Here's some moves to do while you're standing in the line before you actually go up and dance. And it's in the goal club because it's a vital tool that I think it just means you don't have to think. You turn up, you get the go. I'll get it out. You get the warm up on the app, press play, and you just follow along. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
You don't have
And
to.
what I love as well is they can put their earphones in to obviously listen to you do it, but it helps them focus on themselves.
Yeah.
It's just you, your voice, the video, and themselves.
Yeah.
And it's really helpful in a practice room so they're not ones that look around comparing themselves and all that.
Yeah.
If they're just locked into the video
Yeah,
with
that's
your
it.
voice in their ears.
Focused. That is in the goal club, so I'll pop the link to the goal club in the show notes.
Yeah, the kids love that.
Yeah, and I would have loved it because I need somebody to make me run for high rocks. Any takers? But yeah, the other key thing is looking out for those key indicators of overtraining and burnout. Now, where we're at right now is a week before the World. It's the week of the World starting, really. No, it's not. It's the week before that this goes out. Had to have a little think there. Now's the time to look for that burnout. That your dancer is going to be hitting it. They probably already hit it a week before this, because the run up to Worlds is chaotic. Or like add St. Patrick's Day in there. Now is the time. Look out. Are they pale? Are they tired? Are they yawning loads? Are they falling away from their routine? Is it harder to get them up in the morning? Are their muscles tighter? Like,
Are we not wanting to practice as much as their passion and their excitement for it going as well?
Yeah. And what to do then? Take a day off. Get them somewhere that's energizing for them. For some people, that might be chilling out and going for a nice little, I don't know, going for a walk in the park, going for a walk in the country. For others, that might be going and doing something fun, like going bowling with their cousins, or like doing something that completely takes their mind and their body away from dancing.
Something completely non-dance related, 100%.
Yeah. Maybe an extra rest. Maybe you normally get up in the morning and do stretches. Have a lie-in instead. It's you helping them to understand when they're at that overtraining, when they're at that burnout. Are you training every single day and you don't have a dedicated rest day? That is a crime in my eyes. And so many answers still are doing it. When I do my one-to-one assessments, I say, right, talk me through a normal week. And sometimes I'm like,
and now I had this moment the other week and the child was only about 9 and I was like, whoa.
You're like, when do you breathe? When do you see your friends? When do you chill?
When do you do your homework?
Yeah. And the thing is, these things have the knock on that, okay, yes, they need to be at dance class, but at the same time, if it then means they're doing homework till 11 o'clock at night and they're not getting sleep, dance class actually means nothing. Because sleep is when the body remembers. Sleep is when the body recovers. It's also when you process what's happened that day. So if you're not getting enough sleep and you're not helping to facilitate that enough hours of sleep for your young dancer, who it is vital for, and even more vital for because they're doing excessive exercise, that is pointless. You might as well have not done the exercise in the first place because their body hasn't had enough time to store the information that it has gathered that day and then grow and develop as well.
Yeah, and that they're doing lots of growing and developing as they're young as well. Like they're growing all the time, as you all know, probably buying lots of different sizes of the school shoes and uniforms and clothes. Like they're doing lots of growing. So they need that time already and then throw the exercise on top. And then all the mental side of preparing, especially these under 11s preparing for their first one, or under 12s might be preparing for their first one. Like that again is an additional toll on things too.
Yeah, definitely. So just key things there to listen out for is, or look out for, is that burnout, giving them that option, taking the control of that, not letting them choose if they're going to dancing or not that day. Right, you're having a day off and you're having a rest. Yeah. And being in control of that as the parent of a younger dancer, I think is super important.
Yeah.
We're going to
say just teaching them that it's okay to do these things as well will just really stick with them as they get older.
Yeah, and implement into different areas of their life. Moving on to the final sort of pillar then, community. And this is where, again, you can use us. We've got a great community for parents within our free Facebook group. which is a safe, non-judgmental space for honest questions and shared experiences. What we love about it is the fact that somebody puts something in, and before we've even had a time to respond, another parent said, "Oh, I've been there." And you're getting that feedback from, we haven't been dance parents. We've opened up this space to try to support you, but we haven't been dance parents yet.
Nope.
So having that advice and shared experience with somebody else within that group is really, really, what's the word when you can't put a price on it? Priceless? Priceless.
Yeah.
Can't put a price on it. Priceless. We're also like encouraging you to develop that connection with people that you're highlighting to your dancer. It's not all about the competition. It's about
Yeah.
making friends, having fun, meeting new people, sharing experiences. And if you're doing that by putting yourself out there into these communities and spaces, and then what are you showing to your dancer then? You're going to help them to encourage them to go meet somebody new or someone they've met in the Gold Club. They might feel more confident to go over and speak to because they've seen you do it.
Yeah, and just as they're spending their weekends, in hotels and getting ready for the fashion, all that, so are you guys. Like, it's not just the dancers that need to meet friends and have a community, so do the adults too.
And yeah, in some schools, they're bigger schools and there's a big network of parents in there. But in a lot of schools, you might be the only dancer going to bigger competitions from that school. And it is very important to feel like you're not alone in that.
Mm.
And I think some parents in those positions, we do get them, "Oh, we're the only people going." I've had that at the Worlds in Montreal. I had a parent say, "My
Yeah.
teachers aren't going, and I'm the only parent from the school. I feel lost. Can you help?" And I went and spent some time with them in the practice room and just made them to feel like they weren't alone. And I think if we can facilitate that support network as us in person, but also with other parents, I think that's really vital part of being a parent as well as a dance parent.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
and then Annabelle kindly reminded me that I should definitely mention the fact that we're also going to be facilitating this space for parents at our Move with Meg Fest in August. It's on the 14th of August in Belfast or just outside Belfast. And every ticket includes a dancer and a parent. And we've
Yeah.
done that on purpose. It's like no other dance event around the world.
Nope.
It's a festival, so festival vibes, picture it, big tent, outside, music, sunshine, gorgeous
Fun,
countryside,
barbecue.
fun, barbecue, chatting to parents. Parents are gonna have sessions dedicated to them. So sessions with nutritionists, sessions chatting to other parents, sessions with open conversations with Annabelle asking questions. "Oh, this situation's come up. How would you deal with that?" This is for you as much as it is for the dancers, and we've done that on purpose because over the last probably couple of years since we've been developing and growing the Gold Club, we've really seen that network of parents. Um,
Yeah, as I said, I had a parent book in with me for a mindset call for herself, and her dancer was older. She was an older teenager. But she was like, I'm the only one from our school really that does as many fashions as these. I'm a bit lost myself. We're a one teacher school. The teacher's really busy. And just reaching out that way. So yeah, we definitely, and our Facebook group now, I think, has 850
it's amazing.
different people, different parents and teachers from all over the world on there. And I love it when like an American mum asks for something and an Irish mum replies, and they're like, it doesn't matter where you're based either. I love it.
Yeah, and I think that's something we're really, really proud of. But I think again, it's something that separates what we do from what other people do. Like, yes, this is a dancer related sport, but
They're
dancers,
not in the vacuum on their own.
yeah, a
So you can
dancer's
go,
yeah, a dancer's network is important, and that's why the community aspect is super important. But now more so helping parents and helping to answer questions and make you feel like you're informed a little bit more,
yeah,
is
100%. I'm
is
looking forward to meeting all the parents at the festival.
yeah, and
Um,
spending time with them as well. I think that's gonna be really nice for us to get a bigger
yeah,
picture as well of the Fesh network. Um, so yeah, that is I'll pop the link to the, tickets to that below. At the moment, they are £80. That includes dancer and dancer
parent.
and parent, the prices are going up on the 30th and we're over 20% sold at the moment. So if you're interested, 14th of August in Belfast, you can fly in and out quite easily from the UK or drive there. It also backs onto the end of the junior river dance summer school. So if you know your dancers doing that and you're going to collect them, why not celebrate by popping down to Belfast?
Do something together.
Or
We've all
across
been
Belfast
missing them.
and do something together and round it all off. But yeah, I think quick bonus, because we have rattled on here, tips for parents in the lead up to Worlds. Tell me one thing a dancer's parent should do if they are heading to their first Worlds, whether it be under 11 or whether it be it's the first time they've qualified.
Make it fun.
Make it fun.
Make it fun. Like, it's your you'll only do your first Worlds once.
Yeah.
Like, and sure, do you remember yours? Little bit.
Episode about it. I remember way more about the things around it rather than the actual thing.
Yeah, I remember being in the hotel and making friends and having fun, and we got told off for playing lifts.
Talk about making it fun, yeah. What I remember is the fact that we went horse riding and climbing a waterfall.
There you go.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Make it fun, like make it enjoyable. You'll only have this experience once. My mum, bless her, was so stressed when I walked on the stage. She went blind. She said she actually lost her sight. She was like, I actually lost my sight. I was that stressed that like she had then started going, I can't see. She's like, you just look so small. But yeah, like make it fun because you'll only have this experience once in your life. And whether your dancer is going for top 5, going for the experience, it doesn't matter. Make it fun.
Yeah, I love that. Tell me one thing a parent could do in the 2 weeks leading up to the Worlds. We're kind of there, a week out right now, depending on what organisation, 2 weeks, 1 week, leading up to the Worlds. If their dancer is starting to speak a lot about being nervous.
If your dancer's starting to speak a lot about being nervous these last few times before Worlds, I always encourage everyone to just think of 1, 2, 3 things they can do each day that is going to prepare them, and trying to focus on, and we'd said this in the 2-week breakdown, focus on what are the 2, 3, 4 things you can do today. Just think about today. We don't need to be thinking and worrying about what's going to happen in 2 weeks' time on 8 a.m. on Tuesday. So we don't need to be worrying about that right now. All we need to be thinking about is what can I do today? And then keep them accountable. Now, when they've done it, when they've done their half an hour of stretching, 20-minute of stretching, like make it a little bit of like yeah, well done. That's brilliant. Good job. Keep going. Right. What's next? How much water have you drank? You know what? I'm going to drink as much water as you today. Like I'm going to do this with you. Yeah. It's a team effort, and try and break everything down into just day by day and reminding them make sure your language is all fun and upbeat about the Worlds, rather than being like, oh, I wonder this or I wonder that, or I'm worried about the flight, or, you may have them conversations with your partner or with other dance parents, but when you're talking to your dancer, let's kind of keep it up and engaging and fun. But I can't wait to go to the hotel, and I can't wait, maybe if you might get some spending money, maybe we can go to the stalls. But isn't it so exciting to go to visit a new country? Yeah, and really focus it back into what's exciting and what they can do each day. Just break it down a bit.
I love that. Brilliant. Well, we will wrap it up. Remember, I have popped in the show notes a link to the free Facebook group. Join that. Honestly, even if you don't really utilize it to begin with, you will gradually see things posted in there that will be useful and helpful for you. I'll also pop down there a link to the FESH tracker. So something that maybe might help you if you do find that conversation hard on the way home from a FESH. Maybe having this downloadable FESH tracker, it's £7. You can download it, print it as many times as you want, put it in a little folder. Maybe that's something you work through with your dancer on the way home that opens this conversation. So it's a little bit less on you and just something that you work through together. You can
it's nice for little kids to have something in front of them. And, they might want to do it in coloured pens and all that.
100%. And then also I'll pop the link to the Gold Club in case you do want that FESH warm up. Honestly, like we said, everybody loves it. It is really great for focus and keeping engaged. And of course, Please share this with other dance parents. Hopefully there's been something in this that you have taken away from our experiences, from our parents' own experiences, or from the experiences of the dancers and parents that we have spoken about within this. And yeah, hopefully this has been valuable.
Yeah.
We also have a parents' little space in the Gold Club. We're looking to develop that a little bit further and seeing if we can make that private. So it is a little bit more confidential for parents away from dancers. So we're developing that at the moment alongside the Gold Club. But yeah, basically, we are here to support you. We are here to support your dancer. And the more you learn and grow and are open to learning and growing, the better they will be in their future too.
And we're always here to drop a message. You need us for whatever reason.
Yes. And don't forget, like, subscribe, share this with other parents, put it in your group chats, throw it in there, support everybody that might not have heard of us yet. Please share us. Thank you so much. We want to help as many dancers and parents as possible. Have a lovely rest of your day, and we will see you on our next episode 11.
Number 11.
A
Lucky
week's
11. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Meg Talks. Don't forget to share your favourite parts of the episode and tag us on Instagram at movewithmeg with 2 Gs. And as a special treat, head to movewithmeg.co.uk/Fesh Day Warmup to access your free video. See you next time.